Which level is harder? VSC or Slaughterhouse? Let's find out. In Geometry Dash, there are over 80 million levels on the server. And out of all of those, there are about 500 extreme demons.
Wow.
So, it goes without question that a select few are gonna push the limits of the game and be very challenging. The demons list is a list of the top 150 hardest rated levels in the game. And for the number one spot, as the hardest level in the game, I present to you Slaughterhouse. Yes, this level looks impossible with insane gameplay and timings tighter than your mom. Anyways, this is so insanely difficult that it's rated number 1 on the demons list, which means that it must be the hardest level in the game, right? Wrong. There are levels out there called challenges, and while Slaughterhouse is quite the challenge, it is not known as a challenge level. Challenge levels are often short and have a ridiculous gameplay. Therefore, the community created a challenge list just like the demons list, although what sets this apart is that the levels do not have to be rated. This means the standards can be lower and RobTop doesn't have to rate these levels, making the list more accessible to players. Anyways, let's look at our first level, VSC. Upon looking at this level, it is clear that the gameplay is insanely hard and the level is very dark. The whole atmosphere is eerie and hard to see. Not only that, but there are many frame perfects and intense spam parts that require ridiculous precision and a bit of luck. The clicks per second is very high, but it only lasts about 15 seconds. Now, taking a glance over at Slaughterhouse, it is also abundantly clear that the difficulty is crazy. However, with this being said, no individual parts in level are as hard as VSC. Although Slaughterhouse lasts about a minute long, which is 4 times longer than VSC. The atmosphere is also hell-themed, like every other trash extreme demon that's red. And very red, but it is still easier to see than VSC. So when comparing these two beasts, I asked my community on which level is harder. Let's see what they had to say. The first response was from a professional GD player. You guys might know him, it's Diamond.
What God has joined together.
He is very good, as he's the verifier of this. Anyways, this dude is credible, and he says VSC by a long shot. Also, by looking at the victors of VSC in Slaughterhouse, only Yossarian has beaten VSC. As to Slaughterhouse, well, there are 4 victors. I asked you guys which level you thought was harder, and 3,500 of you guys said that by far VSC is harder. And it is also in the lead by 71%. A lot of you guys have opinions, so let's read some comments. This one says, everyone overrates VSC, like a ton. Even now that it's been overtaken by TTV, I think that you can't just compare Slaughterhouse and VSC until you find someone that's unbiased and has overtaken and beaten both of these levels and made significant progress on both. And people responded this with, it's not overrated at all. VSC is just a demonstration of the skill cap, but it has been raised once again now that TTV has gotten verified. Just consider that no one has beaten VSC except Yossarian. Even Connix, who had 150,000 attempts, couldn't do it. Okay, before we make a conclusion on the harder demon, keep in mind that I do not have the skill to play either of these levels, as my hardest demon is still Bloodbath.
Oh my god, I beat it!
This was the hardest at the time, but this was over 6 years ago. So it is clear that in 6 years' time, both players and levels have increased in difficulty and in skill significantly. So me trying to compare VSC and Slaughterhouse would be like asking my friend which level is harder, EXO or Deadlocked. They choose Deadlocked every time. Thank you guys so much for watching, and do not get mad at me. I'm just simply presenting the facts. Please leave a like and subscribe, because that would be greatly appreciated, but also thank you for just simply watching all the way to the end. One last thing though, VSC is harder, shut up.